Watching S8 today, and we start in Zambia now, where there's been criticism of yesterday's Constitutional Court ruling that President Edgar Lungu can stand in presidential elections due in 2021. Opposition leader Hakainde Hichilema, who heads the United Party for National Development, says that the ruling effectively opens the way to a third term for President Lungu. In a unanimous decision, all 7 Constitutional Court judges ruled that President Lungu would not be breaching a constitutional 2-term limit. Well, President Lungu's first period in office lasted only 1 year and 6 months when he took over after the death of the previously elected president, President Sadc. He was then elected to a second full term. Lungu's supporters argued that the Constitution says that a president is only deemed to have served a term if he is in office for at least 3 years of the full 5-year term. Well, to take us a little bit further along with discussion on this particular story, I'm now joined in studio by international political expert Dr. Charles Sinkana. Thanks very much for joining us. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, and good afternoon to your viewers.
All right, so your initial reaction to the Constitutional Court ruling that President Lungu is actually eligible to serve another term?
Yeah, you see, it was 50-50 because leading to the Concord ruling, there was an amendment which was done in January 2016. And I think all these issues has been planned properly so that they allow some clauses which were updated.
Okay, so which amendment was that and what did it say?
The amendment which has been done in Article 106 has been that somebody can assume office as president in an event of Article 105, which said if there was a remaining years to be served as president, so that person can save that and also be deemed to run for another re-election, you know. But one thing which is very strange about the same constitution, Article 106, 2 and 3 says specifically that a president cannot run for more than 2 terms.
But a term, I believe, is deemed to be, you have to have served at least 3 of the 5 years. Anything less than that isn't deemed to be a term according to the Constitution.
No, not really. You know, a term is 5 years. That limits presidential incumbents to stay within the democratic boundaries or governance of the country. Serving in the government as president of the country, you also be bound to 2 terms. So whether you are there for 2 days or 3 days, you know, you have been inaugurated as a president of that country. So you cannot rule out that I never served. So if you say somebody has to serve for more than 3 years, then you're given a room for a third.
So what you're suggesting might even say that what was the gentleman who took over from Sadc for a few weeks?
Yeah, that was then President, the Vice President, Guy Scott.
So what we're saying is that Guy Scott then had a term.
He had a term in office. He served. You know, immediately you sworn in as president.
Even though it was for a few weeks.
Of course, it can be 1 day. You know, that means.
The opposition is saying, I mean, the ruling party is saying that you have to serve at least 3 years of 5. Is that not a stipulation in the Constitution, or is it being misinterpreted?
It contradicts itself as a constitution, which is the supreme of the country.
But it is in the Constitution.
It is in the Constitution, but if you refer to Article 106, it basically indicates that one cannot serve more than 2 terms. And whether there is a result of one finishing somebody's term or is starting his own term, the moment the president is sworn in as president, he starts from that day one.
Let's take it step by step.
President-elect is brought into power again.
Let's take it step by step. The Constitution, and you'd say yes or no, the Constitution says a term shall be a period 3 years or more, not less than that.
No, it's 5 years.
But does it say at least 3 years?
In an event, yes, it says in an event. I'm not going to say yes or no because I need to explain so that you understand.
Yes.
Yeah, in an event that like what happened in Zambia, the incumbent president had to pass on.
Yes.
You know, so he had the remaining few months
Yes.
to complete. So when another president, either the vice president or any other person is
Yes.
appointed, you know, he will continue to finish that term, you know, of office.
Yes.
And when you say he's going to continue to finish that term, that person will automatically be elected as president. So he will be serving a term already in office as president.
Where does this 3 of 5 come in then? This is what I'm
See,
trying
you
to
know,
understand.
it's quite a confusion. There's a lot of lacunes into the Constitution of the Republic of Zambia. I only hope and pray that it is clearly and self-explanatory, because if we have clauses which contradicts itself, it brings a confusion.
Okay.
Now, what is going to happen now at the moment? President Lungu, if I'm saying if, I'm not saying when, if he's elected as president and he will be sworn in actual fact, in reality, he will be sworn in 3 times. From the first one, the second one, and the third one.
All right.
And
so
that also does not go with Article 106(3), which says one cannot serve more than 2 terms.
All right. So isn't this what the Constitutional Court judges' job is, to interpret the law, interpret the Constitution, and make it clear so that from now on there is certainty that if you come in and you don't finish, if you finish someone else's term, it doesn't count as a term. So isn't there clarity now?
You see, it's very strange to note, Peter, that our Concord in Zambia is only less than 5 years. It hasn't matured to a full constitutional court, which looks at the matters of the Constitution beyond any political affiliation or means. You know, so there is a panel of judges there who sat, you know, they voted and whatever, and that was the anonymous decision which was made. But we still feel that the decision shouldn't have made in that way, though we accept it.
But they are learned lawyers, they're judges.
Of course.
They know the law better than you,
But
Dr. Sikana.
when I'm a lawyer as well, I mean, I practice, I mean, I know the Constitutional Court. But where you subject a Constitutional Court to be involved also with the politics, you know, there's no lines which, you know, which
so I'm
separates
reading
the
between
two.
the lines
So
here.
it's-
You're saying that the judges took a political judgment rather than a legal judgment.
It could have been, because the Constitution is clearly states there. You know, it contradicts itself, and the way they amended it, the process is not fully acceptable by the rest of even the opposition political parties and the general people also. Even within itself, the ruling Patriotic Front, they did not accept, they did not want, they wanted somebody to have a chance. But this person has served this term, and it's time for them to have their own chance as well to participate. So there's divisions within the Constitution, because it contradicts everything else.
So what recourse is there to Zambians who may feel aggrieved by the Constitutional Court judgment? It is the highest court in the land. In real terms, that's the end of the story.
I think so. You know, as you know, also one of the political leaders there, I think Zambians now must accept what has happened. It's the concord. It's the type of situation which we have. I mean, there's nothing we can do. There can be an appeal, but also that one will still go back to the same. Or what I can assure that all the people that, including the international community, that Zambians now must stay together and decide on the 2021 general elections. That's when they'll decide and try to make that the Constitution is self-explanatory. Then people can understand that these are the terms. Because I can give you a situation where, for instance, if it was somebody else who was voted into the presidential seat, will he go and complete somebody's term who was into another opposition political party? I say no. He will start his own first term from there, because the reason why they have put it there is within their political party. You know, it's within the Patriotic Front that somebody has to finish somebody's term. There's no such things of trying to finish the term. It's how they have planned it, so that President Lungu can be eligible again to stand in 2021.
Is there a need, do you think, for parliamentarians to sit and look at the law and fix it?
You know, the Constitution, like many other African countries, Zambian Constitution has been flagged many times, and I, for one, we have submitted some amendment so that the constitution can be nice and it covers self-explanatory like other nations. Parliament also, there is not a very conducive environment there for them to debate these issues. There has been a lot of victimization by opposition political parties. There is, the atmosphere is just not conducive for them to change. Even the same Patriotic Front, before they came into power, they flagged the constitution that the president has got so much power, he's got influence into the courts. Even President Lungu earlier this year, he went onto one of the rallies there where he mentioned and warned the judges that they should not block him from contesting the 2021 elections. So that is the environment which we have currently. So even them, when they were in the opposition, they made sure that they need a constitution, a document which will be free for everybody. But immediately they assumed office, they have come to protect it. Unfortunately, the founding member of Patriotic Front passed on, so there's been so much confusion. But I only hope and pray that Zambians now, they unite together without pointing fingers and decide by the vote, because those are the ones who keeps the power to elect the president into office, whether you go in or not. But that's the issue which is there at the moment.
All right, Dr. Sankala, we're going to have to leave it there, unfortunately. But thanks very much indeed for bringing us a view on the Constitutional Court's decision on Friday. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Peter. I appreciate for your time.
All right, so there you have it. The Zambian Constitutional Court has decided that President Lungu can run for a third term. Not everybody is happy, but legal precedent has been